Please be kind, as this is my first post ever and probably the only one I'll ever do. This story happened when I was 15 and totally reckless. I was out with my best friend Alice and her neighbor Emily. We decided to try and enter clubs with fake IDs after discreetly climbing out of the house by window. After getting rejected by the security guys at the clubs because obviously we were not looking like 18-plus girls, we were out wandering the streets, not exactly knowing what to do. It was around 1 a.m. The subway was now closed, and we didn't have enough money to get a cab. Plus, we really wanted to party, and Alice wanted to find a new guy because she was heartbroken from her past boyfriend. The last club we had tried to enter into was in one of the areas that had a famously bad reputation in the city. It was Lyon, France, by the way. Suddenly, this car stops right next to us. The door opens and there's 3 guys inside. 2 of them turn their heads and call to us. "Hey pretty girls, come with us. We have everything you need to get some pleasure. We have some drinks, we have some smokes. Come on." The one at the back looked really muscular and was really insistent. Alice then said, "Let's go, girls. It could be super fun." Then she whispered, "Please, I need some fun. I need a guy to turn the page." She grabbed Emily's arm and went into the car laughing. At this point, I was just thinking, what the hell am I doing? I would rather die with my friends than die alone in the streets at least, so we all entered. In the car, they're trying to flirt with us, but I'm petrified. We say we're only 17, and they tell us that's the perfect age to party with them. After 15 minutes of them driving, I don't know where around the city. They say they want to get some drinks. They want to find a cool place. Alice is super happy. Emily and I are just relieved they sound like they're gonna drop us off in a public place like a bar or a club. But they park the car in a car park, dead smack in the middle of nowhere. We get out of the car and the guys take some bottles from the trunk. They mix a lot of stuff inside the glasses and then give them to us. The one who was driving stays in the car, hands on the wheel and not saying anything. The other 2 guys start to tell us really inappropriate things, that they're gonna take us to a hotel and that we all look like porn stars. Obviously for them I looked like Katsuni because I'm Asian. They were around 35 and we were all 15. They insist on saying how they would be the best hit of our lives, how they would be in beds, etc. Emily whispers in my ear that we shouldn't take these drinks, but instead act as if we're drinking, because they might have put something inside. Alice starts flirting back, and telling me that it's kind of dangerous but she likes it. At this point, they tell us they're never gonna let us go unless we stay with them the whole night. I was feeling trapped, and they asked me to drink insistently. I finally gave in and did it, and I started to feel dizzy really fast. Everything was just blurry around me. I think in a very non-coherent way, and my stomach hurts. The guys are all looking at me as if I was a prey, and they were out hunting. After 10 or 15 minutes of feeling like this, I tell Alice that we should go, but she doesn't look worried at all. I then think that I should maybe sit inside the car, waiting for my fate to do its job. I open the front door, and there's the guy who's still sitting there who drove us inside. He's listening to the radio, and doesn't even turn to look at me when I enter. I ask him, "Why aren't you with your friends?" He turns at me quite upset and says, "Hey, I don't know who you are, and I don't want to know. You told us you were 17, but honestly, you look like my younger sister, and she just entered high school. I don't know why my stupid friends are flirting with you, but I'm just waiting for them to stop. I'm gonna drop you 3 off somewhere safe. Once it's done, I hope I'll never see you again in my entire life." I was both shocked and relieved. We stayed there, both of us just listening to the radio and hearing the laughs of Alice to the bad sexual jokes of the muscular man. I was so dizzy I was practically melting into my seat. After maybe 30 minutes, the driving guy said he wanted to go somewhere. Everyone came into the car. We sat in there and went for a 10-minute ride. While the 2 guys were still saying what they would do to us once we got to a hotel. The driving guy told him to shut the fuck up, and then he was dropping us off at this big place with a load of people. We gave the two men some fake names for Facebook, some fake phone numbers, and finally got out of the car. The muscular guy who was at the back tried to grab Emily's arm, but she managed to run outside. They left, and the driving guy looked at me just before I did, and nodded to me. I was still super dizzy, and eventually threw everything up. Emily didn't believe what had just happened, and Alice was still laughing, saying it was insane. It was around 3:30 or 4 a.m. when we finally found a real party after. But to these guys that wanted to do I don't know what in a hotel, let's not meet again. Or, as the driving guy said, I hope I'll never see you again in my entire life. This was in around 2004 when I was 20 and living in a small 2-level apartment on the main floor of a building. On the front there were 3 stairs, then a deck, then 3 more stairs to the front door, and another little narrow deck that ran the length of the front of my apartment, which beside the door was all windows. The main floor was a tiny kitchen/living room and a door to the hallway for laundry/parking access, all of which was totally visible from the windows. It was fall in Western Canada during daylight savings, so it was pitch black early and surprisingly warm for the season. I had all of my windows open and hadn't yet closed the blinds so I could get a breeze in. I was talking on the phone to my sister. I had my back to the windows, and when I turned around, for a second, I thought I saw something weird at the window. It was really bright inside, so I turned the main light off, only to see a man pressed against the window, staring right at me. I screamed and told my sister a man was on my deck, looking at me. He seemed to bolt off into the darkness. I turned off all the lights inside, put all the outside ones on, and I was babbling to my sister. Holy shit, a peeping Tom. It was so scary, I couldn't believe it. And then suddenly he just walks right back up to the window. I screamed again. He's back. I have to call 911. I hung up and did just that, while his face was just pressed against the window, and it was still open as well. The windows were floor to ceiling with screen crank opened bottom sections that I had to open to the max, and for sure could accommodate a person crawling in if he was determined. He could hear me and the 911 call as well, but that didn't deter him, and he didn't move at all. I had crouched down in the dark room, and the main light was off so he couldn't see me, but I had the lights on beside the door to the hallway and on the stairs to the bedroom. I didn't want to move and let him know where I was. I should have run into the hall and banged on a neighbor's door, but I was in shock. After all, the cops were coming now from a station only 10 blocks away, so they'd get here soon, right? All of a sudden I hear the 911 operator say, "We can't find your address." I'm directly behind the rec center at X and Y, corner unit unmistakable, area landmark and the only apartment building there. The man at the window now starts banging on the glass. I was whispering, but I assumed he heard me give panic directions repeatedly, and neither of us could hear sirens. I felt like this would go on forever, when he finally just ran off. I couldn't see far, and there were plenty of places to crouch and hide, so I wasn't completely sure of this at all. I peeked out to see a police car, so I told the operator that they were here. The car then starts to drive away, and the operator told me to go outside and flag them down. I don't know why I actually did, because I was scared shitless, but when I did, they rolled down their window. "Ma'am, do you need help?" "Oh, you're looking for me, I think. I called 911? Oh, we just happened to be driving by, but what's the problem?" They never found the man that terrified me and made me feel so unsafe that I moved, but it was truly the cops not being able to find the only apartments behind a notable building that completely shook my faith in them. The frightening end note is that when I moved out, they tried to charge me extra because the downstairs screens are shredded from your cats. The screens were pristine the day the creeper showed up, and that was the last time I ever opened the downstairs windows or blinds, or used the front door. The property manager laughed and mocked me and called it BS when I said someone cut them, until I showed her the police report. She lived there too, so suddenly it was not so funny. I've been working for an independent hotel for just over 4 years now. We're the #1 rated hotel in our city, and we're quite proud of it. I mostly work in housekeeping, but I have done some time at the front desk as well. I love my job, and I've always said that my bosses are quite great as well. Now, being a housekeeper, of course, I've seen some things. I've seen a room where someone snuck in their dog, kitten, and chicken. We don't allow pets. I once had a room that I was cleaning as a stayover that had tripods set up around the bed, professional camera equipment cases, an adult-sized pacifier on site, and XL-sized children's diapers. The 2 people that were in that room were in their early 20s. I even had a room once when we had to call the cops for a raid because we'd found a ton of meth. They found drugs and guns in that room. But today is the first time I've ever actually felt scared to be in a guest's room. A man in the next room over catches me at my supply cart. He's said to be staying for several days, and tells me, "Oh, you can go ahead and clean my room right now. I'm going down for breakfast real quick." Excellent. I love getting my stayovers done early on. It makes things easier for the people working laundry the sooner we get the dirty laundry down to them. So I pop on over into his room, opening it up and propping the door open with a stopper like we always do. The first thing I notice is that he has around 20 prescription bottles lined up on one of the 2 beds, along with insulin and various needles. I'm nosy, I'll admit it, and I wanted to see what he was on. Oddly, it was only 2 different types of medication for all 20 bottles. About 2/3 were diabetes medication and the rest were cholesterol medication. It was a little weird that he had so many bottles of the same meds on him at one time, but whatever. I go to make the bed and see that some of the bedding is stained. I sigh, knowing I'll have to change all the bedding now instead of just being able to turn down the sheets and blanket. I leave the room, closing it behind me, to go get the linens I need. Then I head back into the room. I prop the door open again and head to set the clean linens on the desk chair, when out of the corner of my eye, I see 2 notes sitting on the TV armoire. It wouldn't mean anything, except I briefly caught the word "kill" scrawled on it. I dropped the linens and decided to take a closer look. What I read on the first note made my blood run cold. "You don't have to forgive her. You just can't kill her. You're here to take money and alcohol away from you. Get over having to kill her and you can safely leave." My heart was pounding. My eyes went to the second note, which had just looked like a to-do list at the first glance, but in the end made my stomach churn. Spray and wash, apply for Medicare, insubordination, the soul is healed by being with children, bank card follow-up, inheritance, savings, Cowie Pop 10,500, map Montana, there will be a day of reckoning. Did you tell Mom what I said? How did Bev get my address? It was too much. I quickly snapped pictures of them on my phone so I could show my boss why I would not clean his room. I left the room quickly, closing it behind me. As the door closes, I turn around to see the man just 10 feet away from me, coming back to his room. My heart is in my throat, but I manage to smile and tell him, "I need more supplies, I'll be back to your room in a bit." I take off straight for the elevator, having noticed our maintenance man waiting for the slow transport. In a hushed tone, I tell him what I found, and he sees I'm shaken, not a normal state for me. He rides down with me, and I go straight to my boss and tell her that for the first time in all these years, I'm not comfortable being in a guest's room. I show her the pictures, and her face is still and pale. She goes to the front desk and asks our general manager for a minute of her time, and brings her into the office to show her. She agreed that this was not a safe situation, and took our maintenance man with her to go inform the man he had 1 hour to get his belongings and leave the hotel, and he was not to come back. I spent a few minutes in the laundry room, trying to calm down. Then my boss went back up with me to the floor, until the man was officially out of the hotel. I don't know who Bev is, and I don't know who the woman is that he didn't feel he needed to forgive, but I sure hope I don't meet that guy anywhere around again. What is up, guys? Blue Spooky here as always. Thank you guys so much for watching, especially if you made it this far to the end of the video. If you guys liked the video, please be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe, but only if you feel so inclined. As well, I also have another channel where I do true crime videos, and I have another channel I'll be starting soon where I talk about disasters that happen in history and stuff like that. I just want to start doing a bunch of stuff that interests me. As well, on this channel, I'm going to start doing once a week a little mystery type videos or documentaries on dark events and things like that I just find interesting. Maybe some strange diseases or something. Who knows, but I'm sure it'll be very fun and you guys will enjoy it too. I know I'm having a lot of fun making it, and I'm putting a lot of work into it too, so I hope you guys will like it. If you guys want to send in a story to me to read in one of these videos, please be sure to take a look in the description below. There will be links to all of my social media, including my Facebook, Twitter, and Gmail accounts. You can send me a message on any of those, and I'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. If you do decide to send in a story, please be sure to include in the tagline what the name of the story is, the type, if it has one, and how you would like to be credited in the description of the video the story appears in. Special thanks to my artist Alan. He does all of my art for this channel and my true crime channel. He also does commissions, so if you like his work, check him out. He will be in the description of the video as well. If you're curious about the music used in this video, it's always listed in the description below in the order which it appears, so you can go ahead and check it out there as well. There will be links to the artists. I usually use Miyuji Music or Deblato Studios, so you guys can go ahead and check them out directly if you like them as well. If you have any thoughts or criticisms on this video, please be sure to leave it in the comments below so I can know what I can do to improve in the future. Other than that, I think that's pretty much it for now, guys, so thank you so much for watching, and I hope you guys have a great day.